Hello, this is Alicia for Doug Blink's CS202 mobile computing class final project. I apologize for the equality. The software I was originally intending on using stopped working, so I thought it'd be easier just to record with my phone, but that means the quality might be a little lacking, and I apologize for any shakiness. Alright. So what I did for my project is I set out to create an accelerometer controlled game. So the way I did this was kind of fusing together two of the samples, the snake sample code and the accelerometer sample code. So as been over in class, the snake code is a game. And what I am going to be looking at most of is in the snake view class, which if you go in sample code, it's snake and then classes and then snake view. So what's happening here is, so these are just all the libraries we're going to be using. And then this is the original code. I'm going to show what exactly I modified a little bit later. So everything I did was in snake view. So we have the snake. So we have this public class. This is just keeping track of what's currently, you can kind of follow the comments, but what's currently happening. So yeah, so we have the current game mode if it's running paused. We have the direction the snake is headed, the number of apples captured, milliseconds between movements. This is just so that you can have it speed up the further along in the game you are. This is just a way of tracking that time. Here we have just the texts, so like game over, that kind of stuff. Paused. This is coordinates for snake's body, the apples, where that the randomly created apples, and then this is just a way to create the animation. So then in snake view we have that handler that's in charge of kind of refreshing everything. Then we have the snake view. So this is just loading everything for new game. So this is just that's the default snake, and then two randomly appearing apples. So this is just where the random apples happen. So where they appear, make sure they don't overlap with the snake already. And then here we go, test view. This is where the game over screen and other kind of status, like text-based status, happens. Here is the game logic. This is where it handles events in the game, and this is where I did most of my kind of tweaking. So we have on key down, which basically if a key is pressed, things happen. So this is the reason that we have key code volume up is that it's kind of saying it's basically a way to have volume-based control too, which is a little weird. I don't know why you'd use it, but it's there. So we have if the key code is up, and if it's the one on the volume control, then we're starting up the game. That's just the way to start the game. And then if it's paused, that's just the way to let it continue. So this isn't, yeah, this is just doing movement. And then, okay, here we go, is where the bulk of what I was modifying came from. So this is just saying if the key code and it's pressed down, it's not going up, which they're calling north. So it's going south. So that's returning true so that the snake knows to be moving south, like down. Which is the same case for north rather, and then east, or then west, and then east. So if you'll see, I bring up the new code, you can see exactly how that changed, but that is most what's going on. So if we go over to my code, which was with the snake view. So first thing I had to do was add a couple of things. So a lot of this looks familiar from snake code because that's where it comes from, but we had to add the hardware, the app, and the runtime. And that's just, or I had to add the hardware, app, and runtime. And that's just because if you look in the accelerometer sample code, that is what they use, because it's dealing with hardware, whereas the snake one isn't. So, going back to my code, so this should all look pretty similar. Well, actually, here we go. So here is where I'm initializing a lot of stuff that'll need sensor manager and all that stuff is kind of built in with the, I believe, hardware library. So that's just there so it knows to be checking out the sensor. So when we can, oh, I also had to add the point F, which just keeps track of the X and Y for like how much you're tilting. So you can get a sense of if you're going, like if you're tilting to left or right or what have you. So then this is all the same until we get to so here's add random apple. So here we go. This is still starting with the key code, like with the clicking based system, because it is a it's just easier because shaking it like the phone shakes in your pocket, there's a lot of things that could go wrong, so having it start off with an accelerometer based thing would be a little wrong. Same for pausing. Yeah, so this is just how, oh, here we go. Yeah, so this is how it's doing part of the directions. That doesn't get changed that much. So if we go to here we go. So we have a new event. As you see, there's a lot of old code in there. That's just because if you want to do it, you know, control or clicking based, that works too. So here we go. On sensor changed. It's a sensor event, and then it also takes an E. So if that, yeah, so here's where bulk of what's happening is happening. So basically we have if it changes. So this is just, so instead of having it just be like up is up and down is down and all this stuff, this is if you're moving it to, so this is, yeah, if you're moving it to, so if the Y is changing, you're moving it. If it's greater than what it was. The old sensor value is just a way of keeping, so you can have something to compare it to, so you can sense the change in direction. So then, yeah, so you do it for north, and then so that's south, west, east. And that's a bulk of, and that's pretty much what I did. I apologize. I couldn't get the app running on my tablet due to technical issues, but it compiles and it should work. So, thanks for listening.